We are here and ready.
Hi, Oron. I'd love to have a discussion with you today around the theme of guidance. To begin with, I'm quite curious about the role our ancestors play in how we live our current lives. There are many sayings in various communities around the world that, in essence, say that when we are walking our path, we are walking with thousands of ancestors behind us, backing us, and supporting us. That ancestral wisdom is something that is passed down and lives on in us. Can you speak to this?
Yes. You see it clearly when you look at animals. Animals that are solitary are not taught by their mothers or other elders in their tribe because they are solitary. They are not taught how to do things, and you call that instinct. And it is instinct, but it is also a feeling of being carried on the wings of those that came before. The universe is in a constant state of expansion, and the state of expansion builds upon and builds upon and builds upon and creates movement forward. And everything that came before is energetically a part of the present and the future that you create as you expand forward. You are absolutely supported by the consciousness of your ancestors, but not just your ancestors. You could also say that you're supported by the ancestry and the support of the earth and the trees and the birds and the bugs. Everything leads and contributes to everything. And you have got the ability and the capability to tune in to particular aspects of energetics and derive wisdom, support, connection, and love. You are personally connected to your ancestors in your mind in a way that you don't consider yourself personally connected to the ladybugs or the salmon that have been on your planet before. And that creates a pathway of ease to allow the flow of the wisdom to come through you. But you could similarly tune into the energy of salmon and draw wisdom from them.
So that personal connection that we have with our ancestors, do we necessarily need to know about the lives that they had lived to tap into that?
No, there is no necessity to know the specifics. You do not even need to connect with or picture a specific being in your lineage, although you could. The intention and the consciousness and the ability and the power of humans is so little understood by you that let's say this another way. If you had the ability to stand back and look at yourselves and your connections and skills and support and ability to focus into the energy of, you would be blown away. There is no limit to what you can perceive. There is no limit to the wisdom that you can draw towards you when you are open to it. You could choose to focus on one particular ancestor. You could choose to focus on a specific lineage. And there are people whose jobs or career as healers is focused specifically on ancestral cleaning or clearing, for example. That is available, and it is fabulous and it is fun and it is productive. But each and every one of you has the ability, if you choose to do so, to connect into the wisdom of those that came before. There are whispers that are being lovingly guided in your direction always. And it is from ancestors, but it's also from all aspects of the universe, because we remind you of this. You are supported by the entirety of the universe because you and the universe are one. There are corners of this universe, we will say that playfully, there are corners of this universe that you have not conceived of, and yet still those corners are throwing whispers of support and wisdom and connection in your direction. You are able to open to them and hear them and heed them or ignore them, whatever it is that you choose. And it is okay if you are drawn specifically to lineages or ancestors. That is totally fine. In fact, we invite you, we encourage you to follow the guidance. So what you are interested in, what is calling you, is what is energetically aligned for you. So if let us say this another way. There are people to whom dealing with ancestors feels delightful and magical and inspiring and wonderful and like something they are just destined to do. There are people to whom the idea of connecting to ancestors does not feel delicious. It feels more like a looking backwards than a looking forwards. It feels contractive to them. Neither of those perspectives is wrong, even though they are opposite to each other. It is because each individual is aligned in particular ways, has got a particular energetic configuration. And so we encourage you always follow your interest, not only because it is fun, although that should be reason enough, but we encourage you to follow your interest because you will then be following the trail of the energy. They are breadcrumbs. Your interest is breadcrumb trails of energy that are guiding you towards what it is that you are being called towards. So if you prefer to look forward, do. If you prefer to look back, do. You are in either case moving forward because the universe is always expanding, as are you.
I love that. These whispers that you spoke of, when seeking guidance and support, can we call upon our ancestors and how can we strengthen our connection to those whispers and understanding them?
By reminding yourself that they are there, and by reminding yourself that they will not necessarily come in the way that you expect. One of the ways that you block off your ability to hear the whispers is to have an idea of how those whispers need to present themselves. They will present themselves to you differently at different times, and they will present to you differently in different places and when you are feeling different and when the energies that are coming to you are different. So be open to the feeling of them, the experience of them, and be open to playing with them in a way that is expansive and joyful rather than in a way that contracts down to this is right or this is wrong. Make this an expansive, playful game and allow yourself the freedom that you would encourage a child who is learning to ride a bike to have. It does not have to be done perfectly the first time. It is a process of overcorrecting and then correcting less next time and slowly finding a point of balance. But we remind you of this. Your intention is ever powerful, and use your intention not just to intend that you hear the whispers, but also to intend that if there are ways in which you are not currently aligned to the whispers, let that be shown to you. Ask for support and guidance and be open to it, and it will come. It is just that sometimes you do not realize that you are putting up barriers between you and the support. But in all instances, you have access to the wisdom that you need in order to move forward. So if you feel as though you are attempting to be open to the whispers and they are not coming and you are not hearing them, ask to be guided as to how you could expand. It is great that you are asking us this question. You have this opportunity in this moment. But we want to remind you that we and other beings, creatures, energies, ancestors, however you want to conceive of them, they are always available to you, and you do not need to be in front of someone who is channeling information to you. But be open to the fact that you can know. Be open to the fact that you do know. And be playful in your process of play as you expand your ability. And when you do not feel as though you are receiving well, again, turn to yourself, to your wisdom, to your guidance, and ask inwardly, inquire inwardly, but casually and playfully. Is there a way that I am blocking myself from hearing the wisdom of the world in this moment? Ask that openly, without the intention of self-recrimination. If you find yourself in a place of blockage, and you will get answers, and the answers will be wise, and the answers will be deep. And we encourage you to do this with everything that you're experiencing a blockage in. Ask yourself, ask your conception of the universe or the energies or the ancestors or the collective of the universe. It is all there for you to help you, to guide you to connection with yourself, because yourself and themself is the same. We are all one. and you have got so much more access to wisdom than you give yourself credit for. So expand the credit that you give yourself gradually. Do not expect to be able to hear all of the whispers immediately. Gradually and slowly allow yourself to playfully expand your ability, the way you would when you were learning to play an instrument, the way you would when you are learning other skill in your physical plane. Slow, gradual, steady, playful, expansive, non-demanding growth is what's going to help you to listen to the whispers in a way that impacts your life powerfully, joyfully, and with ease in less time than what you're expecting.
Wow. That's very affirming. Thank you. I want to return to something that you said, what really resonated with, following the call of what feels good with our curiosity when it comes to our ancestry and our past lineage. There's a saying that just as wisdom can be passed down, so too can trauma. And something that I've been curious about is, I guess, as a mother, wanting to be more aware of patterns in behaviour or beliefs that I grew up with that were passed down, particularly in the maternal lineage, so from women in my ancestry, and how I can be aware of that, and I guess change that for my daughter and for the future generations and future lineage of my family. Do you have any advice around this?
We will say something that may appear controversial, but at the core of it should not be. We would love to encourage you to do this not for your daughter, but for yourself. When you have the purity of desire, of good wishes for yourself, you are activating something which is incredibly healing and will be deeply supportive in the process of clearing the trauma of which you speak. We want you to wish as much good for you as you do for your daughter with every fiber of your being. So it is okay and not a problem that your primary motivation is to stop this from spreading down the lineage through your daughter and onwards. That is an admirable and desirable and totally right. We do not like to use the word right, but we understand that you do. You as humans do. So the love that you feel for others and for your daughter is pure, but the ability to tap into the most healing force for yourself is to filter that through your own self-love. If you tune into your heart and expand into that space and really deeply relax into the wishing of best for self, not for the benefit of others, but for the benefit of self, you tap into an elixir of power, of transformation. We want you to connect into your heart space now and feel that. Remember yourself as a child. Think of yourself as a child with the purity that you see in your child, and know that that resides within you. And know that you deserve all of the good things. And that if you have ever done anything that was not optimal or ideal or that you now regret, it was always for a reason. You have the same purity right now in this instance, and you have never lost it, the same purity that you see in your daughter and in all children. Feel your heart expanding and feel yourself wanting the best for yourself, not as an afterthought. Want the best for yourself. Feel that love for yourself, that worthiness of self. And now turn your heart to your daughter and see how much more love is there and available to flow on from there. Do you see and feel the difference between attempting to heal something from her benefit and doing the process that we have just encouraged you to do of building the love for self and then encouraging her benefit? Do you feel the difference?
Yeah.
What arises for you now?
I'm quite emotional. I'm quite teary, but it feels really nice. Like, it feels like my chest feels like it's expanded, and there's like a wave that is more easily going outwards, and to her. And I guess when I asked the question, there was a sense of worry, about not doing it right, or about passing on things that I didn't want to pass on. And my concern was for her, but I think recentering it from the heart has made a real difference to what I feel and my intention with the life I want her to be available to her.
That is wonderful. And now that we have done this end of the process, we want to guide you to the fact that in the same way that you have got access to a cleaner flow of positivity and love and purity as you look down through your own self-love and towards your daughter, particularly the lineage, the female lineage you were speaking of, the ones who are no longer embodied, have got access to so much expansive wisdom that is available, and they are flowing that down to you also. You can tune into that. You can draw that in. You can connect into it and have the flow move smoothly without the need to fix, without recrimination, without focus on problems. You can use that energy to clean the lineage with love. That is available to you. And we will say one more thing. We preface that by saying the parts of the lineage that are not currently embodied, because it is easier for you to imagine the expansive, connected to the universe aspects of them. The people who are currently in your life and are somewhat difficult and not manifesting as the divine selves that they carry within are also that. They are the divine self, even though it may not be manifesting in the external. And we would like to remind you to playfully, if this feels like the right thing to do, connect into the energetics of the best self of the people that are making things difficult for you sometimes. You are able to connect to the lineage that is in the past, and you are able to connect to them currently in the present, whether they are embodied or not, and connect into the expansiveness of love that is beneath, deep at the center of all of the trauma that it is that you are trying to clear. If you have, as Maida did when she was growing up, a parent who was abusive, it is difficult for you to imagine that it's possible to connect into a feeling of love from that person, but it absolutely is. It is possible to feel loved by them, perhaps not by their personality and their physicality, but by the expanded version of them. You can have your emotional, energetic needs met. It does not mean that you need to be around people who are not aligned with your best motive in that moment. But you can connect in and you can feel those experiences, because as we began, we want you to know that it is possible for you to connect into everything that it is that you wish to connect into. It is all available. It is all available. It is all available. And as you learn to do it energetically, you become much more capable of drawing it to you in the physical. We are not saying all of this so that you ignore the physical. You are physical and you are here for a reason, and you are here to create great, amazing, joyful action. But sometimes it is important to be guided to the core of the energetics so that you get them into alignment and create action from there, so that things are easeful, joyful, playful, and fun. But even though the outside world sometimes makes it look as though your needs cannot be met, we want you to know that they can. We want you to know that they can. Your needs can be met, but it often takes a change in perspective and a deeper connection with self, because ultimately that's the thing that you always want: love, validation, approval, acceptance of you, from you, by you. The rest is cream. We love you. We love you. We love you. Go well.